Yeah, Stella, baby. Finna get right. Here we go. Yeah, listen.
Hey. Welcome to Unapologetically Divorced. This is where we talk about divorcing everything in your life that is no longer serving you. It is time to get rid of that weight, and that is why today we're going to be talking about toxic FOMO, a real juicy topic, because so many people are holding on to things that are no longer serving them. Well, I am Brittney Boss Up. I am an international keynote speaker, an author, a podcaster, and a licensed professional counselor. And here we have our amazing co-host with us today.
I am Blare, Boss Lady, Anointed, Rap Entertainment.
And we also have
Queen B.
Yes, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. We have an amazing quote that we would love to share with you guys today.
Yes, so our main objective here is to increase our ability to be successful. And so what is the success defined as? Successful is to like yourself, like what you do, and like how you do it.
This is an amazing quote. I love that. I love this quote. And it makes me think about what is success. And so as we work and we do all the things that we do and we get around, we expand our horizons, get around so many other people, we learn that success might be something completely different from what we grew up thinking it was. So for your childhood, we'll start with you, Blair.
Okay.
For your childhood, tell us what was success? What did you think success was, or what were you taught about success growing up?
I think I was taught that success was just going to work, and I've never just going to work and paying bills.
Being able to pay those bills.
Yeah, being able to pay those bills.
So
I've never really seen successful people like growing up. So when I came to the point where I wanted to be successful, I didn't know what they looked like. Right. And so I've been kind of learning as I go. And now that I'm really into what I'm called to do, I'm learning as I go. And I feel like success for me is doing what I love, which brings me peace. I'm a poet, I'm a rapper, I'm a singer. I love doing all these things that bring me peace. So for me, success is doing what you love, and doing what you love should bring you peace.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
And speaking of that topic about peace, I was reading in my devotional this morning. It talked about the book about how to authentically be yourself by Joyce Meyer. And what she was talking about is that peace, you have to be intentional. And so many times we might be wondering, like, why are these things happening to us in our life? Not realizing that we actually have the power to say no. Like Jesus said to the water, he said, peace be still. We have the power to say no, don't come in here with that.
Yes.
And to remove yourself from those things that are toxic.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I like that.
Now, to piggyback off the question about success in your childhood, for me, I was told that if you go get a bigger house and you have these name brand cars, that is success.
Okay.
But now I realize that that's not success.
It's not.
Matter of fact, the ones that flash it out, those are the ones that don't have the money.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
don't have the bag.
Yeah.
They don't have the bag, okay?
Right.
And you learn that those who are successful, those are the ones that are doing what truly makes them happy.
Yes.
They are really living what they are preaching each and every day.
Yes.
And they might wear the same clothes, have 5 different white shirts, but they're happy. They're not going out buying this shirt that costs $600 for what?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I believe what we're really saying is that success is measured in happiness. How happy are you with the life that you live, with the things that you have, with the people that are involved in your life?
Yeah.
And so to answer the question about success as a child and the way that I viewed it, I actually was very blessed to be raised by very successful individuals. And so my grandmother was a judge. My grandfather was a superintendent. My grandmother was the first Black city councilwoman.
Okay.
My dad is a chemist.
Okay.
And so they raised me to know success as education, having a great education, making sure that we live by certain standards.
Yes.
And the ultimate goal was to always have a house with a big pool. And so that's how we measured success in our family. However, as an adult, the true measure of success is happiness.
Yes.
The true measure of success is contentment within ourselves and what we have, and not so much in materialistic things, because you can acquire all the money. But if you are not happy with who you are, the integrity of yourself, then you'll never be happy with anything that you acquire.
Yes.
So.
That was deep.
Yes.
That was deep.
And that reminds me of how I was talking to this one guy, and we were talking about how you have to really be truly happy. And if you're not happy and if you don't love yourself, how can you love other people? Because you're going to love other people where you love yourself.
Yes.
And so if you're angry about what you're doing and how you're doing it, it's going to show up in other ways.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so actually I interviewed this guy who was an Uber driver. He was taking me to this conference that I was at in Atlanta.
Okay.
And he was talking about how him and his wife have been married for like 30 plus years.
Wow, what
And-
a blessing.
Yeah. And he was saying like some things like one day she came home and she was like, look, like I don't like what I'm doing. I want to start my own business. He said, okay, how can we do it? Because if you're not happy,
Support.
I love that.
If the wife's not happy, the house can't
That's what he was
stay.
saying. No, it was like, because he said, I know that's going to come back on me. So what can I do to help? Okay.
Right.
And it was just so important because it reminds me of how talking to so many educators, they're like, wow, you know, the day is so heavy. And then they come home, they don't have energy for their own family.
Right.
And so then you start to look at analyzing the relationships that are in your life.
The partnerships that we form.
Yes. All of that.
Yes.
And so as we're talking about toxic relationships, what do you say to someone who is saying that their family is super, super toxic and they have the titles and they really are like, you know, they wear that title, you know, of a mom or a dad or the cousin or the aunt and all these things. And then they're like, they don't know how to let that go because they feel entitled and obligated to show up
and treat them as their title and not who they are. So my take on that, I was actually raised to look at people based on who they are as a person, not as my mother, not as my father, not as my friend, which can be difficult, right? Because when we love these people, sometimes, as the old people say, we can't see the forest for the trees. You know, we can't see who they really are due to the love and that role that they play in our life. But it's important for us to look at them as people. Who are they? Who is the integrity of their character? How do they treat other people? Things like that, and watching how they handle their responsibilities. You have to take into account what people do in other facets of their life because that will pervade who they are to us as well. So.
That's so true. And the only thing I would add to that is, as a therapist, so many people come to me and they're holding on to the weight of trying to show up and be this person to their family. And you know,
showing up for them,
right?
Yes.
Nobody, nobody. And I was talking to one of my clients, and he was saying like he had to let his mom go. And he said when he started telling people, he was already like predetermined on what they were going to say. But they weren't saying it. They were saying about time. But they were waiting on him to see it.
Yeah, but it's your mom. So.
Oh.
I can kind of speak to that. I had just met my dad when I was 35.
Okay.
So I'm 38. So I met my dad when I was 35. And he came to stay with me. And I had to cut him off.
Oh.
because he was doing things that just did not align with what was aligned with me and my daughter.
Absolutely.
And I had to tell him, hey, I love you, but you gotta go. And he stopped talking to me, and I was okay with that because I'm like, that's not acceptable. You haven't been in my life, and now that you are in my life, you think I owe you something. I don't owe you anything. And I actually just got to the point where I realized and I learned to love people where they are at.
Yeah.
And I do not expect them to, I don't expect for them to give me what they don't have to give.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, I really do understand.
Yeah.
And I had to be okay with that.
Yes.
I had to stop learning how
Trying to make
People pleasing.
And not only that, I'm trying to think of the other thing that I wanted to say. People pleasing and validation. I had to stop seeking the validation.
Yes.
And it took a long time, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm done. I'm not going to seek your validation because I know how I feel about me when I wake up every day.
Amen.
I know what I've been called to do, and I'm going to do that. Whether you support it, encourage it, it don't even matter. I've already got the support.
Yes.
I've already got the encouragement.
validation.
I've already got the validation. I just need to put it into play. So yeah, I've gotten to the point where I love people where they are at, and I do not expect for them to give me what they don't have to give.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's always been the hardest thing for me. It's like, you know what? They don't have it to give. And I'm okay with that.
Right.
And if you're doing too much, I have a right to tell you no.
Yeah.
I have a right to tell you that that's too much for me. Hey, you're doing too much. And I know how to remove myself from the space. You ain't got to leave. I'll leave.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love that. That's like saying, hey, your services are no longer needed.
We're good.
And so that validation piece is very important.
Yes.
Because something that I teach on is called the 5 A's.
Mhm.
And it starts with your childhood.
Yes.
And one of them is acceptance.
Yes. And we
And-
all want to be accepted.
Yeah,
I think that's a
yes,
natural
yes.
human response
Yes.
to groups. You know, we're not made to be by ourselves.
Yes.
And we want to be loved for who we are.
Yes.
Exactly.
But I also understand that I'm different. I've always been different.
Amen.
Right.
Set apart.
So when you
Hello.
know that you're set apart, you kind of just accept that you are different, and that's okay too. Yeah.
That's a beautiful place to be.
Yes.
Yes. I love that. I'm just so in awe because this is so real and so many people need to know this.
Yes.
That it's okay, be yourself. And
Yes.
you know you're different. We
Yes.
all different. Okay. I know I was different from birth. But you try to wonder, like, what is it? You know, you go to school, people laugh at you, they talk about you, you know, all these things. So you start thinking that you're supposed to be like them. And
Right.
no, God is grooming you from the get-go.
Yeah.
We don't get to choose our families.
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
Because how many of us would choose the families that we have, right? With all the people, we'd be like, no, you gotta go.
You
can
gotta
stay.
go, yeah.
No.
Take them out.
Right. I ain't trying to go through that. So
Yeah.
remove that piece. But everything that's happened in our life has happened for a reason.
Yes,
We
to
are
shape
here
us.
for a reason.
Yes.
Everything is preparing us for the next level.
Yes.
So as we talk about the next level and how to overcome those toxic relationships, somebody might be listening today and wonder, what do I do? I hear all y'all, this sound great, but what's the first step? What do I do?
The first step is to set strong boundaries.
Yes.
You got to set strong boundaries. When something makes you feel uncomfortable, never be too afraid to protect yourself first. I think society makes us feel very bad about putting our own self-interest and our own selves first.
Yeah.
You know, they teach us that we're supposed to always think of others and to kind of minimize what we need and what we want when it comes to the greater good for other people. And while that may be true, a portion of setting good boundaries is to always do what serves you best. I think it's important to give to others, but they should get your overflow, not what's already in your cup.
That's
Ooh,
good.
yes,
That's good.
yes,
That's good.
Yes. Oprah Winfrey, she has a quote that talks about that. Of pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring, but you cannot pour when your cup is completely empty.
Yes.
And so we hear that, but it's time to start doing that. And it's
Absolutely.
okay to be there for other people, but that's after you have taken care of yourself.
After you take
Because what do you have to give?
Right.
And what
Right.
we find a lot of times when we need something,
where are they?
nowhere.
Yeah. No, look, no.
Right. And so it's time for us to start really prioritizing ourselves, putting ourselves first, making sure that we are good
Yeah.
And so if you're listening today, there are some tools that we have for you. You can go to Your Transformational Healing and you can download our ebook for you to understand how to start detoxing.
Yes.
Self-detoxing, self-doubt, detoxing that.
Yes.
5 steps to help you be the best version of yourself. Because we know that we live in a time where we have to do it. And people are always going to have something to say. They're going to have something to say if you show up, if you don't show up.
How you showed up.
Right? I mean, there was a time I would show up and people would be like, hey, stranger, how you doing? So I started embracing it. Yeah, hey, stranger here. Dang, the phone works both ways.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to call you? You can call me.
Yes.
You can check on me, see how I'm doing.
Yes.
And that's why I teach people all the time. You got to check on your strong friends.
Yes.
Honey,
please check on them.
We show up one way,
but we be feeling it.
Closed doors.
Yeah.
When it's quiet.
We're regular people.
Yeah.
With regular troubles.
And
yes.
Yes. And sometimes be a little all over the place.
Right.
Absolutely.
But people expect for us to show up so strong that they forget that we need
somebody to pour into our cups.
Yes.
Don't pour into us.
Yes.
The good Lord.
Yes.
Praise
the good Lord.
That just reminds me of one time I remember I had started crying,
Mm-hmm.
and my friend was like, "You cry? You cry?" I was like, "Yes, I'm here."
I feel your friend. Ew.
But it just taught me that sometimes we have to be more vulnerable, and sometimes we're always, this person that seems like we have it all together because you had to.
Yeah.
Like in my childhood, there was no room for weakness or cry or anything. You better stop that.
Yeah.
You better wipe them tears.
Yeah.
And keep going. But we realize in life we have to reach out and get help.
Yeah.
But we have to also keep going.
Yeah.
But it's about getting that help that we need.
Amen.
And being vulnerable.
Yes.
And if your circle want to talk about you for being vulnerable, then guess what?
Then
Find a new
that's your
circle.
Yeah. I wanted to add to that. I wrote down a Bible verse. We have to renew our mind.
Yes.
And that's something that we have to wake up and do
daily.
Yes. Renew your mind, because we can't keep going into new seasons with old mindsets.
Amen.
Because we're not going to get anywhere. So Romans 12:2 says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is in his good and perfect pleasing will. So I love the fact that you said setting boundaries, because we have to identify what is not okay with us.
Yes.
And we have to be straightforward with how we feel.
Absolutely.
If I don't like it, I don't like it. If I don't like it, you said that I didn't like that.
Yes.
And a lot of people have gotten used to, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience, a lot of people have gotten used to me with just being okay with what they say until one day I decide I found my voice and I won't shut it up. And at first I did not like to listen to myself recorded because I was unfamiliar with my own voice.
Right.
And now that I'm familiar with my voice, I'm not going to be quiet.
Okay.
And I don't like, if I don't like it, I don't like it. That hurt my feelings. So yeah, I like, first we got to renew our minds.
Yeah.
And we have to renew our minds daily.
Yeah.
And one thing I always tell people, you're no good to anybody if you're not good to yourself first.
Right.
You got to take care of you. Therapy is also important. When I started my healing journey, it was in 2021. I finally made the decision to heal. Well, I'm gonna say still healing, because there are still things that are occurring, but I am healing. I'm still healing. So yeah, just renew our minds. But yeah, I love the fact that you said what you said, and then therapy, because it helps.
Yeah.
I tell people therapy changed my life. It did.
And I just want to add to that too. You don't owe anyone any explanation either. If you say you don't like something, your feelings are valid.
Yes.
Now it's important to talk to people and have an understanding so you can understand where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's important to understand that you don't have to say, hey, I'm going to lay down and be a rug.
Absolutely.
Because Jesus set the example for us, and he didn't lay down and become a rug. When I read that scripture that said that so many people from his hometown, they did not see his miracles and blessings that were performed because they didn't believe, and they didn't see his worth and value. They were just like, oh, he's just the son of the carpenter. His mother's name is Mary, and they did not see what Jesus was doing.
Right.
And so if Jesus said, hey, you don't see my worth and value, I'm not going to keep pouring and pouring and pouring to you.
Go somewhere else.
Why in the world do we think that we have to keep doing that?
Yeah.
Right.
And so now is our time to rise. Use our voice.
Yes.
And say, hey, what you doing? I don't like it.
Yes.
And anybody who loves you and cares about you, they will receive that.
That's what I was going to say. That's it. That's it. The right people will stay.
It's an affirmation song that I listen to every day by Coach Marie.
Mm-hmm.
And it simply says, I don't have to explain myself to nobody.
Yes.
And I listen to it every day because I had to get to, because I used to over-explain. Like, why am I explaining myself? I said,
and they don't even care.
They don't even care.
That's right.
Or y'all just want me to explain to get a rise out of me. Not giving y'all that energy. So I play the song. I ain't gonna explain myself to nobody. I don't have to let y'all hear, but it's been so transformative, yes, and so encouraging to realize that what I say is what I say, and I don't have to explain why.
Yeah.
Because I've been explaining, I've been talking, I've been out here just,
and they're not listening.
and y'all not listening. So now let me just be quiet
Right.
and go on about my business.
And that reminds me, in the therapy world, it's a cycle. And we all have a cycle. Once people learn your cycle, they think that they know you and they figure you out.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start to break the cycle and you say, no, my no is, that's it.
Yeah.
No. And people will try to pressure you, like, what you got to do?
Right.
Like, what? No, you don't need to know that.
Right.
Just know that I have other things, I have other plans, and I just can't.
Yes.
Just a no.
Yes.
And to encourage our audience, what I've learned most from my growth in setting strong boundaries, letting people know how I feel about things, you know, the people who are meant to stay are going to stay.
Yes,
and they're going to tailor their behavior to fit your emotional needs. And if they love you and if they respect you as a person, what you say will be taken in a way to where they can better treat you and better suit you, because that's what people who love you do. People who truly care will tailor their own behavior to fit what you need from them. And the people who go, let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go. By all means.
Clip.
Because a lot of the times we want to hold on to these people, but they're really not doing anything for us. We're in love with what we thought they could be, what they thought
their
they should
potential.
do, and not so much them. And so once you divorce your dreams of who they could be to you, then you can truly embrace yourself and your happiness, and you don't have as much self-doubt.
Yes.
It's important to not let other people's perceptions and things that they say to us define who we believe that we are.
Yes, that's good. Yes.
And the only thing I would add to that is it reminds me, I was listening to a sermon by Pastor Mike Todd.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was doing his relationship books and all that stuff, he was talking about how you don't marry potential.
Yes.
So many
Better
women have gotten in a situation because they were like, oh, I see your potential. But they don't see it.
Yes.
And here you are 20 years later because of the potential.
Well, they may never actualize into it.
Right.
You know, we have, they may want to.
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know.
It's time for us to start waking up.
Yeah.
Using our voice, setting clear boundaries.
That's right.
And the boundaries are for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's for you to set, but it's for them to abide by. And if they can't abide by it, you don't keep inching the line to help them.
Right.
They're not going to inch the line to help you.
Right. And opening our eyes to the truth.
Ooh,
because it's there.
Ooh, it could be ugly.
Okay. It can be ugly. It can be very ugly, but the truth is the truth.
And it will set you
and
free.
It will set you free. So we gotta learn how to open up our eyes to the truth. You can't pray about something and ask God for the truth, and then God reveal the truth, and then you're not ready.
Then you shut your eyes. Oh yeah,
you can't close your eyes because you prayed and asked for the truth. Get you a prayer life.
Amen.
But be prepared for what you are praying for, and be prepared for God to show you the truth. Because in the Word of God it says that God is not the author of confusion.
No, he's not.
He's not the author. He's not going to confuse you. If you say, God, I need you to show me the truth, I'm confused, but show me the truth, he's going to show the truth. Right. And you got to be, you can't gonna say always be prepared, but you got to be ready. because the truth hurts.
Yeah.
But I'd rather somebody to tell me the truth than lie, because I've been lied to a lot.
Ooh.
I don't want no more fakeness.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody lying to me. Tell me the butt naked truth. If it hurt my feelings, it hurt my feelings. I'd rather my feelings be hurt right then and there than, like you said, finding out 20 years later that this potential ain't what he said he was. He just put on the front street. But see, one thing that I've learned about marriage is that it exposes the truth.
Yeah.
You can't hide.
When y'all in the same house.
Right.
Yeah, when you're in the same house.
If you got your eyes open,
because you can't.
your eyes got to be open.
Okay, talk about it.
Yeah, but you can't hide what you used to hide when y'all were just in relationship.
Yeah, when it was fun.
Yeah, when it was fun. But when life hit,
Mm.
oh yeah, I'm like, oh, I see that. I see that. Why didn't I see that earlier? So having your eyes open. Having your eyes open.
And this reminds us of the scripture that says that we have to value the opinion of God over the opinion of what other people say. And that will stop you from reaching your blessings. If you keep putting everybody else what they're saying, it's just like you said, having your eyes open, and you see in this marriage or this relationship, you see the actions are not in alignment. You keep going and talking to that person, and they keep trying to tell you something else.
Right.
When are you going to wake up?
Right.
Like I tell so many of my clients, okay, you told me this 6 months ago.
Right.
And here we are, we're still here.
Right.
So at some point, somebody has to make a decision. I can't tell you what to do.
Right.
Only you know that.
Right.
But what they say, when a woman is fed up.
She fed up, baby.
I think that speaks to our ability to just accept things as what they are, and not try to change them, not try to do things to even improve ourselves that we think would change other people's behaviors. Sometimes we just have to take who they are at face value and adjust the way that we look at them and adjust the level of access they have into our lives and our minds.
That was good.
But with love.
Yes.
But with love in our hearts,
yes.
we don't ever want to harbor any kind of discontentment. For them, we have to be forgiving. And we don't do it for them, we do it for ourselves to liberate ourselves so that we can get what we truly want. And we can have the people in our lives that we truly need that add value and happiness. Because the goal is happiness.
Yes.
Yes. Well, as we prepare to come to a close, make sure you guys are following us on all social media platforms that am unapologetically divorced. Remember, this is not just relationships. This is divorcing every area of your life that is weighing you down. Yes. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on everything that you can possibly follow us on, because remember, we have to get the word out. And so we need you guys to make sure you are sharing, spreading the word, catching us everywhere, YouTube, everywhere. Just spread the word, because we want to reach millions and millions and millions of people. But before we come to a close, we want to end with this amazing surprise. It's just for you guys who listen to the very end.
So I have a poetry piece that I wrote, and I was gonna title it something different, but I called it Eviction Notice.
Okay, because they gotta go.
Eviction Notice. This is addressed to whom this may concern. Effective today, you are being served this eviction notice to move away from my energy space. Go to a playground and child's play, but you can't play in my face. I am done with being overworked and underpaid, stressed out and overwhelmed with this one-sided relationship. I will not allow myself to have self-esteem issues because you are so critical of you. Take a chill pill and sit down somewhere. I have stated how I feel, and I will not accept this behavior anymore. I don't care where you go, but you can't stay here. So pack up your negativity energy, your emotional trauma. Today, I choose peace over everything. I love you, but I love me more.
Amen.
Yes.
This serves as your eviction notice. Toxic, no more.
Yes. Now, if you guys love this, make sure you comment. Okay, let us know that you love. If there's other things that you guys would like to add, We're open for all of that. And then we want you guys to stay tuned because we're also going to have a night where you guys can call in, give us any questions, suggestions, anything y'all want us to talk about, because we are the sisters, honey. We're going to get it all together for you. But again, make sure you like and subscribe. And I am Unapologetically Divorced. Thank you guys for tuning in with us on today.
It was a slow roll up to the camera.